All right, testing, testing. All right, guys, good morning. Rock and roll. It is Friday morning, July 22nd, 2022. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Let's go ahead and get started on the day. Let's end the week right. Dow futures are up 0.29%. Thank you, American Express. Had a great quarter. NASDAQ down 0.34%. Blame Snap for that because Metaverse, Pinterest, all those names are down as well. Social media, Google are down. S&P futures are basically flat, kind of retesting that 4,000 level. We'll go over that here in a second. Russell 2000 futures are up 0.04%. Crude oil down 0.64%, but off the lows at 95.66. Gasoline futures down 0.40%, $2.98 a gallon. Gold continues to bounce off that key level that we talked about. Let's take a look here at gold. Now the dollar is weakening, so again, we'll go and take a look at gold. We'll bring up that 3-week chart again, and you can see that 1762 support is holding. Now you do have the 200-day here, so let's say if you wanted to go long here, I'm gonna watch it. Probably not have it for the weekend, but I'll watch it with the team and see if possibly maybe we get 1750 or so, and then we can play calls, or maybe if we get a nice little pullback to 1708, maybe 1750, 25, and we'll put a stop right near the 1700, 1672 level on futures. So that's something that I'm looking for. We've been talking about that for a little bit. Let's pivot over to the dollar. Again, kind of the setup for a gold long possible. Look at the weekly chart again. We've talked about the dollar many times, and again, kind of that that trend line to the upside. Here's your support here. Again, kind of we rejected pretty much 109.20, and we came back down. We still have some more downside to go if we break 106.41, 105 being a key level. Let's bring it down a little more to the short term. You could see 106.79 currently down 0.11%. Not tons, but we know that if the dollar continues to fall, that stocks do bounce in sympathy. 106.41 is our support. If that does break, that might confirm our gold long. So we're going to keep an eye on that play again. It's pretty much just bouncing off this support level of 1672. You have 1658 being your 200-day on the weekly. So that's kind of the main setup I saw. I talked about AMD before. Let's go and take a look at the daily. AMD settled above that 50-day. We do have that gap to fill right around 94. So again, I will be watching that for a possible play as well. The only thing is I don't want to add more risk over the weekend just because with S&P futures, 4017 is the level we're looking for. So there's no gap on S&P, but there's a gap on S&P futures, but there is a gap on S&P spot. So if we go ahead and bring this up again, kind of regurgitating the same information, 4014. 4014 is the level we're looking for. If that breaks, then you have up to 4086 on SPX. If we go ahead and take a look at S&P futures for the futures traders, again, 4,000, that's the level we're currently breaking. If we're going to keep that same kind of short-term megaphone formation, if you want to call it, right here on 4036 should be your first level of resistance, and then that 4076 level. So we could definitely overshoot that gap fill. That's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. Of course, we could get that continuation. It is a clean breakout, 4186, 4200. Now that we're talking about possible levels where, hey, this is it could not just be a bear market rally, it could be an actual bottom. Would that confirm the move? Tough to say because really, if I had to say the worst is possibly over, it would be 4350, 4300. 4350 being the 200. Now we have a lot of open space there. You're not going to get one green shoot to the upside. We know that. So again, we'll get some volatility. Again, I'm not sold on this bear market rally as of yet in terms of the macro hasn't really changed. Again, if the CPI numbers in August are better, if the Fed pauses and pivots, then we could start talking about, that it's a low here because we're getting that pivot. But again, we don't know a lot of information. We're getting some earnings. Snap wasn't great, as we know, but American Express was actually very good. So they actually increased their guidance. How about that? Verizon, the other side of the coin, not doing well. They had not a bad, but not as good earnings report. Inflationary environment affecting consumers. That's from Verizon. Twitter misses their expectations. Twitter, I'm not going to give too much stuff on just for the fact that they're going through that the Elon sale and what have you. So their earnings for the most part, yeah, it's something to look for. I mean, their reported daily active users up 14.7%. I don't know if a lot of that is people following the Elon Musk Twitter saga on Twitter. Maybe that's why the boost is there. Could be it. And again, cost related to the acquisition of Elon Musk by Elon Musk is around 33 million. So again, that's 33 million off the top line that hit. Twitter's earnings negative 8 cents versus a 15-cent estimate. That's pretty bad. A 1.18 revenue versus 1.32% revenue. So again, what that I have changed. That Elon Musk acquisition approach, the 33 million. Well, I guess that one could argue that, without the Elon Musk, I guess we want to call it buying drama or the Twitter drama, you wouldn't get those daily active users going higher. But again, that's year over year. We'll probably see as we go along. The American Express call, let me see if I can get that total for you. Yes, this is quote that encouraged the credit card giant to raise its full year revenue growth view to a range of 23% to 25% from 18 to 20% previously. So American Express raises revenue forecast on resilient card spending. So again, kind of tough to have a recession when people are spending. Granted, this is a credit card, but for the most part, Amexes are charge cards, very very business centered. And again, I know because as a small business owner, again, I've been an American Express customer now since around 2015, and great customer service. Again, this is not an ad for them. Again, you could use whatever you want, but American Express is one of the top brands out there. So great by them. Again, that shows that there's resiliency in the spending on the card market. So maybe this recession talk is could be a little unheated in a sense. But again, we will see the GDP number next week. Adjusted EPS $1.31 versus $1.33 for Verizon. That's a miss. Revenue 33.88 billion. That's a beat. And then we have the fiscal year adjusted again the guidance $5.10 to 5.25 versus prior guidance of 5.40 to 5.55. So again, that is the miss. That's why Verizon is down pre-market. Again, it's all about the guidance. That's why we're down. And if we bring up American Express, that's why we're up. Again, the guidance being the key. Snap, I think they had a weaker than expected guidance as well. S&P just broke over 4,000 on the future side. And then again, I still have those spy calls with the team. And then Snap, we had one more earnings with Twitter. And Twitter is starting to bounce off the lows of 37.21. So again, maybe some of the investors are looking past the numbers, kind of seeing things the way I see. Doesn't mean I want to buy Twitter at all. Again, I love Twitter using it, but again, not to buy it. But in general, maybe that the increase in year over year user base, the daily active users, was because of Elon. I wouldn't doubt it, at least a percentage of that. So again, it's kind of a double-edged sword, kind of a drama. But again, the best advertising out there is the richest man on planet Earth. So why not, right? S&P futures, let's go ahead and recheck it again. We just fell down a little bit, 39.98. One more thing I want to look at, again, 10-year yields. Again, continuing to fall. Now we're going to retest some key levels, 27.46. So again, if you are a homeowner, I do expect 10-year yields to continue to fall. I would stay a little patient, homeowners, because if you're planning to refinance, we're about to get some at least better than rates that we had before. I remember the top was around 3.25 or so. 3.25 sounds about right. That was the recent high on the 10-year yield. If we bring up the daily, yeah, about 3.483 or so. I am long TLT on calls. So again, this is good news, but again, expected news. We'll break 118. And once we do, we'll go ahead and get to this gap fill of right around 118.67. That is the first gap there. And then once that breaks, we should be get to 120. I do have the 120 calls for September on TLT. So we were red for the last couple of days, but again, we should be going into green right about now. So pretty cool stuff. In terms of the market in general, guys, it's kind of the same thing over and over. We know the drill. We're still waiting for that gap fill, and we played it long. So well done, team, this week. Again, not too excited on these moves. Not too excited for these equity moves. I did buy some SPY-G yesterday. I buy SPY-G every week anyways. So again, dollar cost averaging. Keep an eye on AMD. AMD is the one I like as well. I didn't signal it or anything. Again, just to kind of keep the risk low. I'll revisit on Monday. Just kind of want to keep the books relatively clean. Even though SPY is for Monday expiry, I know for a fact we'll probably just get that today. Qualcomm settled above the 200-day. You have a small gap to fill at 161. That's something that I'm watching as well. So Qualcomm, AMD, they could be a little stretched. Obviously, semiconductors, but our side we know is not just it's not gospel. So again, you can kind of keep that in your back pocket. Keep an eye on those 160s for Qualcomm, maybe the 96, 95s for AMD. Pretty much the only two stock option setups I like. In terms of futures, I would not want to go ES long or NASDAQ long here, but gold would be something I'm looking for. So we'll do one more last check on gold on that. And again, it's really just technical basis with the dollar. We're basically putting the dollar and gold against each other, strength versus weakness. So we know the dollar has been weaker. Gold has been bouncing back slightly. But again, 1672 being the level I'm looking for, and 1771 being that first target. 1672 is that support. Maybe we get back to 1700 on gold. Maybe dollar does bounce somehow this today or so. And then we can probably get a nicer entry on gold. Again, I would want to swing this play 1771 to possibly 1800 for a nice profit. So we'll keep an eye on that futures team on the Discord, and we'll go from there. Have a great weekend, guys. I understand not a lot of questions. It's kind of the same thing over and over. Let's go ahead and just cash out today. Let's make it a great day, and we'll catch you guys Monday for the morning note as no aftermarket recaps on Friday. F1 race on Sunday. We have the France Grand Prix. I don't know if that's the actual Grand Prix name, but I can't wait. Last week there was no race, so go Lewis. Let's kill it, and let's see if we get it. Thoughts on FOMC? That'll be next week, Austin. I think we're gonna get 75 basis point anyways. I think the market's already pricing that in. Right now, the real news that everyone's kind of looking at is what are we gonna get in September? Because there's August, there's no FOMC. So August, we'll get a CPI number. We have a GDP number next week. We still have more earnings, big earnings next week, and then of course, in September we'll have another rate increase. At least that's what's planned. The question is, are we going to get 50? Are we going to get a pause? If inflation comes in very weak, the Fed might pivot. August might be your low, but it's all on the inflationary data as we go along. We'll keep an eye on those PMIs as well. I think we have a flash services PMI today, and that'll be at 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and retweet that out once we get it in. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Cheers.